Hey folks, thank you for joining me on my fourth video of Gods and Nemesis, the Making the Video Game demo. I wanted to make this one a little bit more interactive than the last couple of videos because I think this will be a little bit more interesting. Actually, the videos from now on should be a lot more interesting. There was a lot to go over because the creatures and the environment are a little bit different, and I felt it necessary to drag that on maybe a little too much, so I apologize. But anyway, I want to go over the interactive objects like I explained in the last video. I thought I was going to go over a couple of them, but because of their complexity, I wanted to go over just one, which was the treasure chest. I also wanted to show you some training sites. These training sites are where I started off and I did a quick level design and I added to it, kind of like adding colors to a painting. Over time, it started to come through and became its own. But these areas that I'm going to show you are not going to be in the demo. I don't believe they will be, unless something changes to where I get really fast. I'm kind of struggling getting things done. There's a lot to do. But I also wanted, I wanted to show you the treasure chest and that, and I think that should do it for this video. I also wanted to make sure that you understand I'm going down to one video a week because I needed the extra time balancing it with a full-time job to actually create the video game. I wanted to get the demo out as soon as possible. I sincerely doubt I'll make it by Christmas. I really wanted to, but it's probably not going to happen. There's just too much to do, and too many things have happened along the way. So that's just life. So here it is. I'm in the actual inventory screen right now of my video game, and I'll show you this in a separate video. There's a lot to go over in the inventory screen, and I think that will help a lot of video game makers. The inventory screen for an RPG, well, actually any game is extremely important. Really sets the tone of and a feeling for how your video game is going to be. But I'm going to go ahead and close this and show you the first training area. Walk around a little bit. And this also has a treasure chest that I can show you, so I'll kill two birds with one stone. I'm walking around. Here's a little specialized alien campfire type thing, if you will. I made stalactites. I'm still working on those to try to get the color right. I wanted a pale, chalky color. Also want them to where you can run into them typically. No, not today. Well, you're supposed to be able to run into them, but I can always do this. There we go. I don't know what happened there. I'll have to check into that, why they're not exploding on contact. There we go. One of them went off. I wanted kind of interactive objects in the world where things will break apart. And this little pale thing here, that's when I was doing the test for the coloration of the stalactites. So this is a training ground, and you might make a training ground yourself if you're self-taught and start growing the level accordingly. Over here is a treasure chest. I think it's floating above the ground a little bit, and it sure is. But this again is a training ground. It wasn't supposed to be for any particular use. And when you interact with it, notice I had to hit F or 1 on the keypad. That's for interactivity mode. And I left clicked on the treasure chest and opened it up. And I have several things to choose from. I don't have a picture for a red key. Red key is a placer. In this alien world, I had just created an actual specialized key, and it will not be the keys that me and you typically know of, but they will be keys nonetheless. And we have phoenix feathers, gold flakes, and various forms of armor. So I can take these. I might want this. I want a red key. Even though it doesn't have a picture, I can still take it. Now I can check my inventory. Red key. And the gold goes into the pouch there. And I have armor and such. But the main thing I wanted to show you is I'm going to go out of playing mode into interactive mode. Here is the treasure chest object, and you'll notice what these are called dynamic fields, and these can alter in accordance to need. So this treasure chest in my game does not care unless you open it or mess with it. It doesn't even know what it is yet. It has certain parameters. It knows that it is, and before you touched it, its condition would be unused. Conwaith is an old name that's not used anymore. Its status would have been closed. It has 2 sound effects, and these are the sound file names. It's locked is false, and special treasure is now 6554, which is actually the object's number, ID. It doesn't have a name, which would be here, because it's just a generic object, and its treasure category is just simply treasure. So that would be the type of text file it will look up, and it will determine what type of treasure is going to be in there. But it still does a random generation and determines what file it's going to use. In this case, it was treasure. Put that into the treasure category, and then it changed itself into a collapsed formulation, basically making it into a real object that can be interacted with. Now, when I take objects out of it, it has to remember that I took those objects. It has to remember that after I go out of this level, maybe to the outside, and come back in, that I took objects from that. So that's a separate entity altogether. So when you're making a video game, make sure that you're going to have to make sure various things like that. You might want to have a random generator. You might want to have the ability for a treasure chest to have specific items. It might be a special treasure chest specifically for a quest. So that might be something that you have to keep into consideration. Let's see here. That is the training ground here. Oh, I'm going to go back into play mode and show you this nifty little door. There you are. We can move along. I'm going to show you the next training area in just a moment. Well, this is the very first level I have ever created for Gods and Nemesis. This was the original training ground, and a lot went on here. I had an AI that used to run around this huge pillar here, the crystal thing in the middle, and used to attack him all the time, and then I would hide around corners in order to determine if he can see me. All those are important parameters for artificial intelligence. Have a little campfire, first campfire. Might as well turn that on. And let's see. We have here, we have alchemical. I'm going to put myself into interactive mode, alchemical former. We have various items, gold scales, and a book. You can read books in here. One of the Easter eggs will be my second book in the game. It will be someplace in the world. You read, I'm going to put the first chapter in there unedited. Well, edited enough to where you can actually read it, but I think it would be kind of interesting to have it in there. And here's the very first treasure chest in Conwaith. Who's this guy, huh? Well, he sometimes shows up, and I put the world into where it goes into day and night cycle. And here's the same thing. You have all kinds of different items. Retrocrypts, or Retrocrypt bottles, which will be renamed. It's an old name, Retrocrypt. The bottles are very important for containing chemicals and stuff in this world. And take that. And let's see. Do some other things. I wanted to see if Conwaith actually shows up. He was based upon the old system, and the roads, he's not able to navigate the roads anymore because it's an older road system. It's not the all roads lead to Rome, which was the newer system. And so it no longer works. Let's see if he appears anywhere. Probably won't. He's based upon the concept that in the morning he's picking herbs, and towards the nighttime he's going to be down here experimenting. Let's see if he's at the very beginning of this place. And I think I will end the video at that point. And I believe I'm going to show the basic intro in the next video. Should be pretty interesting to you guys. I only have so much stamina. And you can build stamina over time. Oh, I'll be darned, he is there. Last time I tried this and he wasn't here at all. So let's see if we can talk to him. Old Conwaith, he will not be in the new game, or the demo, because the timeline doesn't make sense. But he will be in the new book. So you can pick out what you want to talk to him about. The lice crystals, you've seen the pillars at the beginning. Those have lice crystals in them. They'll be important during the quest. And he describe. You can talk to him various things. Now I had just originally added voiceovers, so I'm doing that with Audacity. I actually like to show you that maybe next video. I'll have to decide. And that's very important for games. I mean, a lot of people don't like to read. You know, this is a story-driven RPG, so it's not going to be for certain people. If you don't like to read, well, it's probably not going to be for you. But the main storyline, I will have it voiced over enough to where it should be able to compensate for certain individuals that don't feel like reading. They might be too tired. There's days that I come home and I'm too tired. I don't feel like reading. I understand. But anyway, those are some of the things that you might want to consider for your RPG, and I will go over these in more detail as time goes on. I hope you enjoyed it, and please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell others about it if I can talk right. And if you have any requests, please let me know. I do just about any video. I think it'd be a lot more interesting if people would request various videos based upon the video games that they're creating. Kind of allows me to give something back to the community, and I'll be more than happy to do so. So I'll talk to you later, and that's it. Take care.